And here we are, episode 24, the Gil Can Run show, where sometimes I talk about running and sometimes I don't, and who knows what's going to happen today. Philadelphia is this weekend. I'm all sorts of excited. I'm getting packed. I have my big, it's actually a laptop bag. It's like a backpack, but it's also got space for a laptop, like specific space for a laptop. So it works out pretty well for traveling. It's my usual carry-on. You're allowed carry-on and personal item. My carry-on is usually this bag, and my personal item when I fly, I'm not flying obviously, is usually my camera bag, because I'm not going to check my cameras because I'd be nuts to do that. I don't have like a, tiny little thing, and I don't use my, I do a lot of photos on cell phones, but I don't use myself when I'm out taking pictures, particularly when I'm on vacation. I'm using a real camera. I'm not taking my camera with me this weekend. I have plenty of pictures of Philadelphia, all strewn all over the place. I do enjoy Philly, but not bringing my camera. I'm just going to bring my backpack, and I have one other bag because I got to bring the sauce and the meatless meatballs that I made and everything for Mikey and us to eat. Mikey, his girlfriend, and me. We're all going to sit down on Saturday night. I'm going to do my usual pre-race meal, and I share it with them because they're nice enough, and I do the cooking because they're nice enough to let me stay in their house. So that works out. I'm really excited. I'm really nervous. The nerves have been building all week. They build every week before a race. No matter what distance, no matter what I'm trying to do, I always get nervous. Am I going to make it? Is everything going to be okay? I think it's a natural thing. I think it's good. And so we will see what's up and what's going on. I'm going to move that way. There we go. Okay, now you can't see anything. It's just me and one of my blankets, because I sit on my bed to do this right now because I don't have anywhere else to sit, and the wall behind me. So yeah, I didn't bother to make my bed. I've been on the go all day. What was supposed to be like an hour project turned into an all-day project of well, I was just going to prepare my basement because tomorrow washer and dryer are getting installed after I'm gone, of course, but that's okay. So washer and dryer are getting installed tomorrow, finally. And I went downstairs and I was just going to prepare a few things. I was actually going to do the sump pump finally, and I'm looking down and I'm looking up, and then I realized that the plumber, the horrible plumber, who one day I will name names, actually Jefferson Plumbing, I believe they're out of Bridgeport or Fairfield, Connecticut, and they're horrible, and don't ever hire them for anything. I would never hire them if I had the choice ever again. Our original contractors weren't able to do the job because the bank held the money up for so long, so the general contractor had to get people he did not really know. He went on the suggestion of one of his friends to get a carpentry contractor, and the carpentry contractor said, well, why don't you try my contractors that I have for plumbing and electricity? And they were horrible, and they all did a horrible job, and they were horrible people on top of it. That's the worst part. If they weren't horrible people, I could be okay with it. I could honestly be okay with a bad job if on top of it you're not a complete douchebag and run off with money and shit like that. But that's what these people did. Jefferson at least stayed on till the end of the job, but everything he did was half-assed and it was shit. Okay? The furnaces, which he brought in his HVAC guy to do, the furnaces are so loud because they bought such cheap furnaces, and they tried to cheap out so much that they tried to put an open combustion furnace in a living area. Okay, open combustion is cheaper than closed combustion. It's also less efficient. I said from the start, I said, you need high efficiency everything because, might as well. You're doing it fresh. We're getting new stuff. We might as well do high efficiency, make everything down the line a better running house. They put a high efficiency in the basement where it's not a living space and you can do an open combustion. And then they put an open combustion in a living area. Luckily, the inspector saw that, said, not going to happen. Had them redo everything, bring in a new unit, all that stuff, put in the proper unit. But still, because they went with like the cheapest one they could find, it's the loudest thing on the face of the planet. I hate it. up until very recently, most of the drains leaked and things like that. I had to keep fixing them. We had him come back to fix them, and he actually made them worse. And then I just said, screw it. I started doing it because I know how to do this stuff. So anyway, so the mixing valve was not installed. Long story short, I've gone off on a complete rant about how horrible these contractors were. I'll talk about the electrician and the carpenter another day, how there are walls in this house that are completely not straight, and how do you not put up a straight wall? How do you not put a level to that when you're putting up a wall? I don't understand. You have to be a complete moron to screw something like that up, or you have to completely not care at all and be a moron. And the electrician, like, he ran off with stuff. He actually broke into the house while it was under construction, stole stuff out of it because he was a complete asshole. They pissed off all the inspectors in this town, by the way. The inspectors were cool with me, and the inspectors were completely fed up with the crap that these guys were pulling. So it was a giant mess. It was a giant pain in the ass. But so the mixing valve was not... The mixing valve, for those of you who may not know, where the washing machine is, there's going to be a mixing valve, hot and cold, to mix it, and also reduces pressure in case you have high pressure in your lines. It'll reduce the pressure so you don't get a blowout in the... Basically, they're bits of garden hose that attach your washing machine to the plumbing in your house. And so the mixing valve was just sitting there. With the PEX tube came down, it was stubbed off, and then the mixing valve was there and it wasn't attached. So I'm like, screw it. So luckily, my neighbor and general contractor has his own PEX crimp tool. It's like, hey, can you bring the crimp tool over? I gotta do this. So I went out, I got the stuff that I needed, start crimping and soldering and putting everything together. Get it all together, and everything seems okay and good. And I realized that I forgot the basement toilet. We have 3 full bathrooms in our house, although I guess now they'll call it, well, they, for whatever reason, because one of them only has a shower and it doesn't have an actual bath, they call it a half, but it's not. There's a shower there. There's a working shower in every single bathroom. There's a bathtub in most of the bathrooms. But anyway, so they say 2.5, we say 3. And the toilet downstairs in the basement, the handle broke and the fill valve broke. So I needed a new handle and fill valve, forgot about it. Luckily my mother was out near Home Depot and she brought the fill valve and the handle. I was like, oh good, I'll get this all done tonight. So I was sitting there and I get the mixing valve together and I turn the water back on and I go to turn the mixing valve on and water comes flying out the freaking thing, the valve itself. I'm like, oh Christ. So I go back down to Home Depot and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna, you know, see what I can do here. And I'm looking for a repair kit for the valve because I know it's a very common mixing valve for washing machines. I figured they had a repair kit. They don't. They don't have a repair kit for that valve. No. You have to just buy a new valve. So it's like 25 bucks. I buy a new valve. I'm like, all right, well, the parts that are, you know, attached to the pipes are fine. I just need to put the, you know, the rest of the valve on it, screw it together, it'll be fine. And that's what I did. And it took me forever because I got stuck in traffic and back and forth to the store and one thing after another. It was a real pain in the ass. And, you know, I can't believe you managed to forget to attach something like a mixing valve for a washing machine. You bring your tubing all the way there, like, you know, a foot above it, and you don't bother to attach it. For the life of me, I cannot figure out how a human being manages that. How they say, oh, you know what? I don't need to attach that. It's fine the way that it is. It's not fine the way that it is. You need to do that. That is part of your job, is to do things like that when you're a plumber and you're hired to work on somebody's house and put the plumbing in. That is part of your job and you didn't do it. On top of the drain for the condensate pump for the furnace in the basement, they put the drain past the main stack where they had the drain for the upstairs furnace, past that, and down into the drain for the washing machine over by the mixing valve. So I sat there and I took all that tubing up today and I cut that and I zip tied it up and made it go into the other drain, and now everything's nice. Then I finally got to work on the toilet. And of course the toilet had never been taken apart before. This thing has been there since before I was a kid. No, wait, is that a new toilet in there? Maybe Grandpa put in a new toilet when I was like 10, 11 years old. Something like that. Anyway, it's been a while. So, I go to take this thing apart and it just, the old fill valve was brass and it had, brass threads on it. So they were all gunked up and fouled up of years of just sitting there. Oh, it was such a pain. But I finally got it done. I finally got the new fill valve in. I got the new, flush handle on. I got it all hooked up. Everything's working. Everything's nice. I'm not getting to that sump pump today. That's for damn sure. That'll have to wait next week. I'll pull the washing machine out, put the sump pump in. Everything will be good. That'll be that. The general contractor said, "Hey, I'll cut you the check if you want. And you can just put the floors in the basement and the gutters on the house." And I said, "No, dude, you can do that. I'm good." He's like, "But you'll make money," because he doesn't. He's tired of working on the house, but that's what we have insurance for. I don't have to do the work. I don't want to do the work. If I had to do the work, if it was, if I didn't have a choice in the matter, if it had to be done, and budget was a concern, obviously I could buy the materials and do it myself. But fuck it, I'll let Dan handle it. He's good. He knows what he's doing, and let it get done. So that was my fun today. So I got packed mostly. I don't have everything packed yet. And then I dealt with all that stuff. So at least when the washer and dryer get here tomorrow, they can just hook them up. We'll have a washer and dryer. It'll work. It'll be nice. It'll be fun. Life will be good. So, we'll have that there. And then next week I'll have more stuff to do. So, but Philadelphia, that is what I'm focusing on at this point. Got to wake up in the morning, catch the train, get to the expo, pick up my bib, do this, do that, do the other thing, get to my buddy's house, and then absolutely wreck Philly for the weekend. It'll be great. Lots of coffee, lots of brunch, lots of good places to eat. One nice thing about my buddy that I'm going to visit is he knows all the good places to eat. He always knows the good places to eat. It's great. It's we've always enjoyed food together, so it's going to be fun. It'll be good. So we'll get that done, and hopefully I'll have a good race. I'm feeling all right. Everyone in my house has been sick. I haven't gotten sick yet. Hopefully I don't get sick. I've been taking preventive measures. I've been drinking more tea and honey than I normally do because honey's a natural antibiotic. I have been taking Zicam, things like that, and trying to make sure that I stay healthy through the weekend at the very least, so this all gets done. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how everything goes with that. Then, got the race on Sunday. As I said, I'm feeling good as of now. It looks like we're going to have really good weather. Looks like it's going to be like mid-40s, probably start off low 40s, get to the mid-40s, sunny, no rain. That'll be nice because it'll be cool, so the sun will be nice to, keep everything warm. But I am packing a variety of stuff so that in the morning, I can make sure I have the right level of gear. I have all my cold weather gear on me. I have my hat, I have my gaiter, I have my gloves, I have my compression shorts, which I'm definitely going to need under 50 degrees, definitely going to need it. I have a long sleeve shirt, I have a short sleeve shirt. I have a variety of different things. By the way, I never wear, unless it's really, if it's like in the teens and below, you will see me run in something other than shorts. Usually like warm-up pants or, well, I don't even really own sweatpants, so it's warm-up pants, and that's about it. And usually I'll have like my shorts on under them to give myself extra insulation in that area. Because really, who wants a cold crotch? Nobody. That's who. Nobody on the face of this planet, unless you've just burned it, do you want it cold. End of. I don't care who you are. Actually, I know some people, well, they don't want the whole area cold. We won't get into that. This is a kind of family show. But no, generally, you don't want that. So I don't want that while I'm running, so I will usually wear like my usual layers and then put the warm-ups on over them just to keep any exposed skin from not being so exposed and a little bit warmer. Socks, I always wear, well, in a marathon I'm always going to wear compression socks. I do not wear, like, I don't wear cold weather running socks or anything. I don't mess with that stuff. My feet treat me pretty well, and I haven't had any problems in super cold weather, single digits, teens. I haven't had any problem running with regular socks on and regular shoes on. If I were going to run Antarctica, if I were going to run somewhere where it was going to be even colder, then I would consider some sort of cold weather running sock. But in general, my regular socks work just fine up to single digits. That's as far as I've tested them. That's as far as they've gone. If I have the opportunity to run in colder climates, I will see what happens. But in single digits Fahrenheit, by the way, we're already talking way minus on the Celsius scale. In metric, we're way below zero. But when I'm talking single digits and teens, I'm talking obviously Fahrenheit. So please don't get mistaken there. So I have a variety of gear ready for the weekend, packed away, ready to go, and I will figure it out on race day what I'm going to be wearing. I haven't run today. I haven't run all week. I think I'm good. I think I'm ready. I have enough miles in for the month where when I finish this, I just have to pick up my regular training and I'll be fine and hit my goal for the month, and a little bit extra I should. And then I also, on Thanksgiving, we start our holiday streak. You should join me in the holiday streak. If you're not part of my running club, you won't get anything for it. We get like a little prize at the end for completing the streak. But, you know, it's just, it gets you out every day. It motivates you in the cold weather to get out and run. And because you're running every day, you want to keep it shorter anyway. And it's cold weather, so win-win, right? So I encourage you to go out and streak through the holiday from Thanksgiving until New Year's Day and keep running at least 1 mile every single day. It's also Movember. I'm not doing anything for it. I'm not growing my beard. I actually have to shave. I'm not raising any money. Terrible of me, I know. But I couldn't put anything together, and I'm not growing my beard back. So not anytime soon. And as I mentioned, of the beard, shaving the beard, and suddenly my times improved, but that was also the same time I stopped eating meat completely. So we will see, you know, if I keep improving as I'm not eating meat. This might be something to study. This might be something to look into, and we'll see how it goes. It might just be my body chemistry runs better on a vegetarian diet. It's entirely possible. Some people may run better without a vegetarian diet, but we'll see what happens. You know, other than that, I'm just, you know, trying to get everything together. I haven't talked to you guys on this since the whole craziness in Europe. It's still getting crazier, not on the terrorist side, but on our side. You know, we're trying to, now here's the thing, my state welcomed a refugee family yesterday because the state of Indiana did everything they could to refuse them. So here's the thing. These people had applied for refugee status before there was ever a such thing as ISIS. Okay, they have been in refugee status for 3 years. They've been getting checked out. They've been going through everything. Okay, a lot of people have half a story and they're sitting there saying ridiculous things about it, and they're wrong and they're false and they're idiots and they're assholes. These people have been waiting and waiting and waiting for years, and finally it was time for them to pass through everything and finally have a place to live. And the state of Indiana said no, because Mike Pence is an asshole. Simple as that. But that's what happens when you don't go out and vote. You end up with assholes as governors. Luckily, a lot of people think my governor's an asshole, but he said, nope, we're cool. We'll take him. So, congratulations, Connecticut. Good job. Good job, Governor Malloy. And welcome, new family. I hope that you get peace and serenity and get to do everything that you wanted to do here that you couldn't do home. And then today, 2 families, 2 sets of parents, each with 2 children, through Mexico, okay, came to the border in Laredo, Texas, came to the actual border crossing in Laredo, Texas, and said, we are refugees seeking asylum in America. Okay, they have traveled through basically South America. A lot of people will come in through South America and travel up, and they will get to the border crossing. They are not trying to sneak in, and that's the other thing, right-wing media is saying, they were trying to sneak in, they were trying to jump the border. No, they were not caught. They got to the crossing, they announced their intention to the proper officials, and are being processed. And it's a long process, and they're going to be in this process for a long time. This isn't something new. They didn't do this just the other day. They didn't hop on a plane and get here from Europe and try and sneak across. That's not what happened. Stop it. Stop being fear-mongering assholes and just be reasonable. Okay, please be reasonable. And let's help everybody who wants help. You know why? Oh, well, suddenly these people are concerned about the homeless that we have. Okay? I've been sitting here, I've been talking about homeless all the time. When my house burned down and people were asking what they could do, I said, don't do something for me. Do something for someone who's really homeless. I actually said that. I should probably republish that letter again. And I did. I wrote a big long letter and I said, guys, here's the deal. You want to do something because my house burned down, go help a real homeless person, someone who really needs help. I gave a whole list of things that they could do. I gave links to charities. I talked about working at your local soup kitchen, your local shelter, whatever you wanted to do. And I always implore people to do that. Okay. I also came up with a new idea of ending shelters as we know them and getting rid of some of the empty space, some of the empty buildings that we have in our urban centers by turning them into basically apartment complexes for homeless people, where the homeless people know that they have a place to go every day, they have a home base, instead of the shelter system where they can get, you never know where they're going to be day to day, okay? Because the shelter system's terrible. So, as much as we need it, and you should go out, and you should work in the shelter system, and you should volunteer in the shelters and everything, they're terrible, and we need to find a better way, and we need to find a way to get the homeless off the street permanently and have them not be homeless anymore. And we can do that. And we can take care of the homeless, and we can take care of the refugees, because we live a lie that there is a limited amount of resources. Okay? It is a lie that we don't have enough. We have more than enough. We have more than enough empty buildings that just sit there and do nothing to home every single homeless person in this country 6 times over. there are 6 empty houses for every single homeless person in America. So don't tell me we don't have enough housing, because that's not the problem. Well, we don't have enough money. Well, what is money? Seriously, what is it? It is the belief that the debt that somebody owes is good. That's what money is. Believe it or not. And, well, why don't we have a gold standard? Well, that's a belief that a shiny metal is worth something. We do not have an economy grounded in any sort of reality. So don't tell me we don't have enough money. Okay? There's always enough money. There's more than enough food. There are more than enough blankets. Okay? We do have limited resources in this world. We can't just keep doing the things the way that we do. We do need to conserve. But we have enough for everyone. The only reason we don't seem to have enough for everyone is because certain people at the very top, hoard what they can, and there are a large enough amount of people underneath them who sit there and believe that they have a right to hoard things. That's the way the economy works. That is how we end up having value to anything. And it's all a belief system that absolutely is unsustainable, doesn't work, and causes people to be homeless. So I say, let's get rid of all that. Let's have our municipalities, part of our tax dollars, pay to take some of these houses, turn them into apartment buildings, have social workers, have maintenance people, things like that there to work to make sure that the needs are met for these homeless people, for their facilities, make sure that their needs are met psychologically if they need help. If they don't need help, that's fine. Maybe they just need to get their feet off, on some firm ground. And once that's the case, they'll be just fine. They'll be able to move on back and integrate themselves into, typical society without being homeless. I say typical, I don't have a good word for it. I'm not going to say normal society, because I think that what we call normal is completely ridiculous most of the time. But, so we can do this. We can get rid of homelessness, okay? We can do that. And we need to stop. Every time someone wants to say, no, we can't do something, suddenly they care about someone they've never cared about before, okay? Conservative talk show hosts, you have never once in your life actually given a damn about the homeless. You're only using that now because you don't want refugees here. Because you want to foment fear that these refugees are going to do something. So far, not one refugee has ever actually done anything in this country. And as far as we can tell, the whole France thing was not anybody who was a refugee. People say, well, what about the Boston bombers? And a lot of runners are going to say that. I'm going to say this. They were not refugees. They were asylees. There is a huge difference between someone seeking asylum and a refugee. So, they were seeking asylum. Different process, different thing. They are not refugees. That is that. They were not refugees. And, people were saying, oh, well, a Syrian passport was found. Actually, apparently, one of the Syrian passports that were found was fake. Another one, the guy wasn't actually a terrorist. He was a victim. That's a big difference. So far, if you noticed, the mastermind, what is a terrorist mastermind? You put on vest, you blow yourself up. Ooh, masterful, brilliant. My God, you're so smart. Mastermind my ass. Look, these days need to get over themselves. But, ooh, I said it. I'm in trouble now. They'll behead me. Oh no. I'm not scared, clearly. So the guy was killed in France yesterday. So they're all in France, they're all in Belgium, they're all from France. They might not be originally from France, but the fact is that they came to France and, you know, whatever. They ended up going to visit relatives, got radicalized because of whatever reason, and did what they did. So stop blaming refugees. Stop being afraid of refugees. Stop being afraid. I think that's the bigger thing. Stop being afraid. There are much worse things to lose in your life, and by being afraid, you're losing most of them. You know, I'm not going to be scared for my life. I'm just not going to do it. Because in being scared for my life, I end up living an incomplete life. So why would I sit there and fear something that's going to detract from the very thing that I want to save? You know, it's not a big deal. When I die, like Alan Watts said, you know, what's it going to be like? Well, what was it like before you were born? You know, if you don't know Alan Watts, I would check him out. It's, you know, it's interesting. It's informative. It makes you think. Even if you end up disagreeing, it'll still make you think about the way things are and how you perceive things and how that affects everything around you. And as I said, you know, why am I going to be afraid of what comes after I'm alive? Did I remember what things were like before I was born? No. So why be afraid? And in the meantime, I will live my life, and whatever happens, happens. And if something terrible happens, then something terrible happens. These things, I mean, my house burned down. That's pretty terrible. Luckily, nobody was hurt. I got lucky, right? Somebody could have been hurt. It was pretty, it was actually pretty lucky that someone didn't get hurt. So, you know, it just happened to be that, you know, there was someone asleep in the house, and they fell asleep in a room that ended up not getting affected because the door was closed, and there was technically an exterior wall between them and the fire. So, saved their life. Because there was an exterior wall, and that door that was there was also an exterior door. So, you know, you get lucky sometimes. But something happens, it's going to happen. I don't have any control over the events that are going to happen. I get to make decisions, and I have no idea how those decisions are going to turn out. And sometimes the decisions will be good, and sometimes the decisions will be bad. But I'm going to make the decisions that I want to make that are going to do what I think is going to be best for my life and the people around me. You know, and I'm always going to make those decisions with others in mind. I'm always going to make those decisions as to whether or not this is a good thing or not, whether or not this is a moral thing or not. But in the end, I make decisions, things happen. Now, as to whether or not, you know, bad things happen or not, well, I have no way of knowing, you know, beforehand whether or not a bad thing's going to happen. So I just have to deal with it. And that's that. You know, and I'm not going to be afraid of a bad thing happening. I'm just going to let things happen as they may, as they might. And that'll be that. And that'll be, you know, how things work out. Either good or bad, it doesn't matter. In the end, it is what it is. I'm just going to live my life. So I think if everyone just focused on living their life, everything would be a lot better. Because we wouldn't be allowed to be scared, right? Because people sit there, and you hear it on the news all the time. Like, you know, basically, what should you be afraid of next? You know, the details on the latest this. Well, no. You know, oh, they threatened New York City. Well, okay, what good does that do me? I'm going to avoid New York? Well, they want you to avoid New York. Because they want you to be afraid of going to New York. That's why they threatened it. They threatened Washington, D.C. They want you to be afraid of going to Washington, D.C. You know, like, why even report it? You're not doing anything that anyone can do any actions over. Like, okay, so you don't go to DC. For how long? You don't know. Till you forget about it? Okay, who's to say they didn't forget about it? So, like, don't be afraid. Just do your thing. Live your life. Whatever happens, happens. You know, well, like with that soccer match in Germany, I'll give them this. They had actionable intelligence. They actually found something, or they thought they found something, so they shut down the soccer match. That makes sense, do that. But other than that, you know, if you have something that you can act on it. If you don't have something that you can act on, live your life. And whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And try not to stress out about it. Because it's just life, and you never know when it's going to be over. You never know. You know, I've been there. I've been really close to not being alive anymore. So you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to come and hit you. So don't let anyone take that away from you. Don't let anyone take away your freedom. And when you're afraid, you don't have your freedom. Because you're acting out of fear. You're not acting out of love. You're not acting out of happiness. You're not acting out of joy. You're acting out of fear. And that takes your freedom because you're afraid of things. Now, obviously, there are things to be afraid of. I'm afraid of falling out of the sky without a parachute on. I'm afraid of that. It makes sense to be afraid of that. It's healthy to be afraid of that. I'm afraid of being eaten by man-eating animals. It keeps me alert. It's smart to be that way. Especially when you're out in the wild and there might be man-eating animals around, like, say, I don't know, a tiger or a lion or a pack of hungry wolves or something like that. Now, mind you, most predators will leave most humans alone, but there are cases, particularly with tigers, which luckily I don't live in a place where tigers are. Other cats, like cougars and stuff like that, pumas, although I don't think there are any pumas left in the United States. Don't mind me, by the way. I've discovered that there is some solder stuck to my pants, and I'm getting rid of it now because I'm a little nervous about that. I don't know why, it just happens that way. So, but like, you know, if I'm out like hiking in the Rockies, I'm going to look out for mountain lions and shit like that, right? That makes sense. I'm going to be careful about that. Those are healthy fears to have. Things I'm not afraid of. I'm not afraid of what other people are going to decide to do. Because I don't have a choice in the matter. I can't really defend myself. Because if another person, I can't really defend myself from the cougar either. Once it attacks, and I know that it's going to attack me, then I can go out of my way to try and do something with a big stick or something to fend it off. But what I can't do is preemptively go after the wildlife just because I think they might attack me. That's not right. That's not a good place to be. And it's the same thing with human beings. I can't preemptively go after and attack another human being because I think they might attack me. That's not a good way to live because you end up hurting people that way. And a lot of people end up getting hurt that way. And we see it all the time in the news. The police, you know, acting out, and it turns out people are unarmed and things like that. And, you know, people get hurt, people get killed that way. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm not going to fear people. I'm not going to fear what might happen. I'm just going to go and I'm going to do the things that I want to do, and I'm going to be happy, and whatever happens, happens, and so be it. And I think that's the way to be. No fear. So that's what's going to happen in Philadelphia this weekend. No fear. Hopefully no regrets. 3:45, maybe not. Who knows? Definitely going to have fun either way. Going to get to hang out with my buddy. And we've been friends for a very long time, since middle school. So it's been a really long time, and it's going to be good to see him. It's going to be good to hang out and do the things that we do. So I can't wait to tell you all about it. I can't wait to let you know how things turn out, good or bad. I'm always looking forward to it. Whatever you're running this weekend, wherever you're running this weekend, enjoy it, have fun with it, and just take it easy out there. Make sure if you're enjoying this, share it with friends. If you're, if you have a question, if you have a comment, anything like that, let me know. Say something. So, I'm always available. I'm always there to answer questions, even with my computer down, and it'll be away probably for another 9 days before I get it back. I got an email today saying we will automatically email you when your computer ships back. So, and they said it could be up to 14 days. Hopefully it's not 14 days, but it's already been there 5 days, so we will see. We'll see what happens, and hopefully my beautiful, beautiful computer gets back to me soon. So, other than that, just keep it going out there. Take it easy. I'm going to have another wonderful recipe for you on Monday. It's going to be, I believe, buffalo cauliflower pizza, if I can remember that. And I keep forgetting to talk about the squatty potty. I really need to remember to talk about the squatty potty. You know what? I got a few more minutes. I can talk about the squatty potty right now. So squatty potty, right? I'm sure you've seen this commercial. Maybe you haven't. It's this hilarious commercial with this like animatronic unicorn pooping rainbows into ice cream cones, and this guy eating it, talking about how wonderful the poop is. And the reason the poop is so wonderful is because unicorn poop is always wonderful, but the unicorn squats like humans should squat. And it helps everything move out easier because it relaxes different muscles. And so, I run a lot. I eat a vegetarian diet. Sometimes pooping is hard. So I gave it a try. And sure enough, it seems to work. It makes things move a lot easier. I do not have a squatty potty. I did not spend money on a thing to make me sit in a squatted position when I'm on the toilet. No, what did I do? I took the little, trash bin that you have in a bathroom, the little one, the little tiny one. Something that's obviously under the height of the bowl. And I put it in front of the bowl and I stepped on it. And sure enough, I'm in the same position that they're in the commercial, and everything comes out much easier. And quicker too, believe it or not. So, it actually works, I would say. If you want to buy a squatty potty, I certainly wouldn't say don't buy one, but there are certainly other things that you can use instead of a squatty potty in order to get the job done. So if you don't want to spend the money, look for something sturdy enough that you can step on and have your feet on. And as a guy, though, remember it is going to change your aim a little bit, so be ready for that. I haven't had any problems. I just realized when I squatted, I'm like, I'm aiming up a little bit. So I adjusted and got everything right. Put it that way. So, yep, definitely something to do. Something to check out if you're having problems, or if you just want to be have a little bit easier of a wipe afterwards or whatever. Check it out. And that's all I got for this week. So take it easy out there. As I said, if you're having fun, if you're enjoying this, share it. Get people to, sign up on the book faces and the Twitters and everything, and, check it out and say hi and communicate and all that good stuff. And, if you want to, feel free to message me or whatever, and we can talk. And we'll see where everything goes from there. So good luck, everyone, this weekend. Have fun. Keep running. And remember, if Gil can run, then so can you. Ciao.